Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am actually coming at you with a video idea that I came up with a couple of months ago, and I actually ran it by my friend Amanda. You guys probably know her as AmandaandLola NL, and she thought it was a great idea, so we decided to actually do it together as a collab. So once you finish watching this video, make sure you click the link down below to go see Amanda's version of it. So essentially I'm going to be going through a bunch of different categories of things that I find interesting or related to my content on my channel, and I'm going to be talking about whether these are things that I save on or things that I splurge on, the differences in things that I don't pay a lot of money for and the things that I do pay more money for, the higher end versions of items. Before we get into it, I do want to mention that, you know, if your opinion is different than mine, that's okay. I just wanted to share kind of my, I guess, logic on why I spend my money where. Yeah, if yours is different, if you buy everything at Walmart and nothing at Sephora or MAC or Lush or whatever, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to kind of share my idea of it, and if you guys are watching this and you want to make a video the same way, by all means, I'll put the list down in the description bar for you. I am someone who has a bit more expensive taste in things without even trying sometimes. I don't know why, just the way I am. So if you're interested in what I save versus splurge on, then keep watching. Okay, so the first category we're going to talk about is fashion. So the first item on my list here is underwear. When it comes to undergarments, I tend to splurge on them a little bit more, just because I find they last a little bit longer and they tend to be more comfortable for me. Socks. I guess you could say they're higher end. Depends on the person, I guess. But for me, like, my favorite ankle socks, like my athletic socks, are Puma. I just find they wash really well and they support my arches really well when I'm either doing weights or running or whatever. But when it comes to like my taller winter warmer socks, my favorite ones are actually from Columbia, but I did buy them at Winners, so I got them for a more affordable price. But anyway, they basically feel like fleece on the inside. They are amazing. So yeah, Puma and Columbia are my favorite socks. Bras I definitely have to go higher end. I am a bigger size chest, so I need, you know, not only good quality support like underneath in the wires and that, but also in the straps. So that's why I tend to stick to Victoria's Secret or La Senza for my bras. Pantyhose and or tights. These I actually do buy cheaper because no matter what I do, no matter what I wear them with, no matter what I'm doing while wearing pantyhose or tights, they always seem to rip on me. And if they don't rip the first time, they always rip the second time. So these I tend to stick to Walmart, or Shoppers Drug Mart, something like that, for tights. T-shirts. T-shirts, I tend to stick to more higher end brands as well. Some of my favorites, now it depends on the shirt, but for the most part my everyday like solid t-shirts are actually from Reitman's. They're from the Our Essentials line, and I find this material in particular is really comfortable. So this is one of them I'm wearing right now. I did show it in my Deck the Halls fashion haul. Fancier shirts. I tend to stick to higher end for these as well. A lot of my dressier shirts I actually order online for the most part. Not because there isn't anything good here, it's just I look here and I find something that isn't comfortable or doesn't fit me well, so I tend to go to other websites like ModCloth, H&M, those kind of stores. Cardigans and other light sweaters. Let me see. These are definitely on the higher end as well. Let me see. I got ones from Toby, Dynamite, Old Navy. They're a bit of a mix and match of brands, but they are on the higher price point. Again, they last longer, they look better on me, that kind of thing. Hoodies and sweaters. I would say these are higher end as well. I've got, let me see, Lululemon. I got one from a couple years ago that I'm like hanging on to for dear life because they're so expensive. I got a North Face one there. I've got like a unisex Gildan University one that I wore a lot during Vlogmas from University. I've got a local one there from Saltwater Designs NL. That one's also printed on a Gildan brand unisex crew sweatshirt, but because I pay a higher price point for them, they do last me a long time, and I also don't put them in the dryer, so that makes them last a lot longer as well. Seasonal light jackets, so things like denim jackets, bomber jackets, that kind of thing. The only denim jacket I did have was from Hollister. It fit me okay when I first got it, but I ended up having to donate it because it was just too tight on me. Lighter jackets like my fall jacket, the black jacket that I actually wore to New York, if you guys remember those vlogs from like I guess almost 2 years ago now. That one is actually from Eclipse, so that one was around $45. They tend to get a bit more worn out faster, so I don't pay as much for these as like my hoodies and my big like winter jackets and stuff. For my heavier jackets, these are definitely in the higher price tag point. My more fall rain jacket, lighter parka is Helly Hansen. For my winter parka, I do have a Canada Goose. I'm fortunate enough to own a Goose coat. Really expensive, but definitely worth the money. It is very warm. The next category I have here is denim. For denim, there is one brand that I always buy jeans from, even though I don't wear them that often anymore, because I'm basically addicted to leggings. But when I do wear denim, it's always from American Eagle Outfitters. I just find those ones fit me the best. They're the most comfortable. I'm okay with the price point. They do usually last me 1.5 to 2 years with regular wear. For pants, skirts, and shorts, I tend to stick to higher brands for these as well, because again, they last me a little bit longer. So pants, I don't own a lot of like dressier pants, but I do have a couple of solid pairs from Reitman's and a new pair of patterned like paper bag or bucket pants from Abercrombie. Skirts, most of my skirts actually tend to be on the cheaper end because I don't own a lot of them and I don't wear them super often. So a new one I got there to try in a new style is from Forever 21, and all the skirts I can think of that I owned in university were also from Forever 21. So skirts, I definitely go on the cheaper end. I save on those. For shorts, I try to get them on sale from the higher end. Or if there's a pattern or color that I really like, I'll go ahead and pay full price for them. My denim ones are usually from American Eagle, so those are definitely on the higher end, around $45–50. Patterned lighter ones I tend to get on sale at the end of the summer or end of spring, the more patterned like lighter shorts that became really popular. Those ones I didn't pay as much for. Because they're more of a trendy item, I try to not pay full price for those if I can. Dresses. Dresses is something I usually have to go higher end on. Mostly because of my size and my body shape. I find that the more expensive ones just tend to look a bit better on me, and yeah, not much else to say about that. A lot of my dresses come from either H&M or ModCloth. Exercise clothing. Okay, so the majority of my gym gear is definitely higher end or things that I order in, therefore making them a bit more expensive. I do have a bunch of leggings from Victoria's Secret. Out of the ones I can get here, those are definitely my favorite. Some of my shirts are a bit more high-end as well. I've got a couple of Lululemon ones there. There's a New Balance one there. A couple of Lorna Jane ones that I ordered online. And then the rest of my leggings are either Till You Collapse or Sanita Athletics, which are both online stores. So I order those in as well. In terms of my sneakers, like my gym sneakers, those are Nikes, and my gym bag is Lululemon too. So I am pretty high end on the gym clothing spectrum. Footwear. Okay, well I already talked about my gym sneakers, those are Nike, but for the most part my footwear are higher end as well. Now this is just my opinion, but I think it's better to invest in good quality footwear. They're better for the health of your feet. Generally, I find that the higher end ones tend to fit my feet better, last longer, and I tend to stick to classic styles that I know will last me a couple of years. If it's something that's a bit more on the trendy end, like a certain pair of like gladiator sandals with like a lot of color on them or something, I would buy those in a cheaper form, but when it comes to things like boots, gym sneakers, that kind of thing, I stick to higher end. Sleepwear. It's kind of a mix. I have some things from La Vie en Rose, some things are actually from Joe Fresh, Atlantic Superstore, Dominion Loblaws, like a grocery store, Save. I don't think I have a lot of super high-end PJs anymore. I've got a mix of everything when it comes to this. The majority of my jewelry is Save, like more costume style jewelry, but I do have a couple of other high-end pieces. My like, what I'd consider my everyday stuff, my bracelets and my recent ring that I got, my Fitbit, that kind of stuff I do have higher end. The majority of like my trendier pieces I stick to lower price tags. A great place that I love to get more trendy jewelry is like Forever 21, H&M. I find they have really cool, not these, I just happen to be touching my ear, but edgy like studs and big dangly fancy earrings and that kind of thing. I actually like buy them cheaper because they tend to wear out faster and in terms of trends. My taste in jewelry actually changes every like 6 to 8 months or so, I would say. Purses. When it comes to my everyday purse, I'm the type of girl who has one purse that I wear with every outfit, doesn't matter what color or what style of clothes I'm wearing. I do have a Michael Kors, so that is definitely a higher price tag. That's definitely a splurge. Mine was a gift, but you get the idea. But when it comes to like my evening bags, things that I'd wear to like concerts, going downtown to bars, that kind of thing, I stick to lower end purses. That way, in the event that it is stolen, at least I'm not losing a $200 purse. You know what I mean? So my everyday purse is a splurge, but my going out trendier purses are definitely a save. And the last category of fashion is swimwear. A lot of my swimwear that I own right now is actually discontinued because it is Victoria's Secret. Mostly bought that, not necessarily for comfort, but because I liked the patterns. And I liked the strapless bandeau tops that they sold with the underwires. They feel kind of like a strapless bra. Overall, I do find that I tend to splurge on a bit more because I am really picky with patterns and the shape of the bra top and like all that stuff. So I would say I am a bit more of a splurger, definitely when it comes to the tops, but some of my bottoms do come from places like Walmart. If I'm just getting like plain black bottoms or something, I'll usually just buy those at Walmart. Okay, moving into the next category, this is the makeup category. Primer for face and eyes. So for primers, I tend to stick to higher end. You're gonna see a lot of higher end products in the makeup because, well, I'm into makeup, so primers are definitely something that I invest in based on things like my skin type and just the way makeup wears over it. I find they perform a lot better, so they're worth the money to me. Foundation is my next category I have here. This is something that I've definitely been converted over to more high-end rather than drugstore. There definitely are some good foundations at the drugstore. Don't get me wrong, I'm not completely against drugstore foundation. It's just I find the higher end ones just perform better for me, for my skin. Concealer, another item that I definitely prefer higher end. Concealer is something that I've struggled with at the drugstore. I find it really hard to find a good drugstore concealer, not just for under eyes, but for covering up spots and that kind of thing too. The only ones I've really found that work for me are higher end. But yeah, with the drugstore ones, I don't know, like they crease on me really bad, they oxidize, they're not the right color, they just looks really bad on me. I don't know why, but it just doesn't work for me. Under eye setting powder. This is also something that I splurge on. Don't worry, I do have drugstore items in this video, I promise. But what I find works best for under my eyes is Laura Mercier Pressed Translucent Setting Powder. But for face powder, I do actually prefer a drugstore. I haven't found a high-end one that's like I can justify buying over drugstore because I find the drugstore ones work perfectly fine for me. This is the Rimmel London Clear Complexion Clarifying Powder. I've been buying this for a couple of years now and I always go back to it if I try something else. So that's definitely my favorite and that's definitely a save. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about brow products. So the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz is a brow pencil that I've been using now 2014, 2015, something like that. And I've gone through a lot of these. I have recently purchased a drugstore one to see if I can convert over to drugstore, but as of right now, the Brow Wiz still wins for me. I think this is worth the money. It's not that the quality of the L'Oreal one I picked up, the Brow Stylist Definer, I was close. It's not that the quality of that one isn't as good. The formula is very comparable. The problem is the color. The color of the Brow Wiz in blonde or taupe. Yeah, blonde or taupe. But taupe definitely matches me better right now. So for that reason, and because I buy mostly Brow Wiz, I'm gonna go with higher end when it comes to brows. Alright, the next category I have here is eyeshadow. Eyeshadow is definitely something that I've been more on the splurge side of for a very long time. It's one of the first products that I ever bought higher end. And it's usually that case for a lot of people because pressed powders like this, you know, they last a lot longer in your collection or your vanity or on your dresser than say a foundation or a mascara or whatever. So I feel like a lot of people justify buying higher end eyeshadows. I'm definitely someone who owns a lot more palettes than individual eyeshadows just because I find it's a bit more convenient and that way, you know, your colors are going to go together and that kind of thing. The reason eyeshadows are good to invest in and splurge on is, again, the shelf life, but also I think the quality makes it a lot more worth it. It's a lot easier to work with eyeshadow when it's highly pigmented, smooth, good quality. and yeah, it just makes your life a lot easier. So it's definitely something worth investing in. I wouldn't pay any more than like $70 for an eyeshadow palette. That's kind of my cap, but yeah, to each their own, but I definitely think eyeshadows are worth splurging on. Eyeliner. Eyeliner is definitely something I've had better experience with high end, but I also don't wear a lot of eyeliner. If you're someone who wears it more on a daily basis, you might find the drugstore ones easier to work with, but for me personally, I prefer a higher end eyeliner because I don't wear it so often. They're just a little bit easier to work with. I prefer liquid over pencil, but when I've tried both pencil and liquid from higher end, and I generally find them both better. Mascara. This is something I'm very passionate about, and whenever people first ask me about makeup advice, I always recommend lower end mascaras. Save on mascaras. Every time I buy like a $30 mascara from Sephora, or if I try a sample from MAC, it's always just it's the same. I don't think you need to spend $30 on a mascara to get a good one. Definitely check out the drugstore for mascaras. I really don't find much difference, and I've tried a few. Contour and bronzing products. I haven't found much at the drugstore in terms of contour. There is definitely bronzers. Oopsies. There's definitely bronzers at the drugstore, but I haven't bought like the more modern today's drugstore bronzers. The last time I bought bronzer at the drugstore was probably in grade 10 or 11. During dance concerts I had bronzer, but it was really sparkly. If I can find a picture, I'll insert it because it's absolutely hilarious how shiny I made my face look with it. But right now I just own high end, so I can't really say if I prefer drugstore or high end, but I definitely own high end. So my favorite contour powder is actually in the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. The bottom left shade here is the one I use for contour. As you can tell, it's almost gone. And for bronzers, I have two here. The Tarte Amazonian Clay Matte Waterproof Bronzer is a really nice formulation, along with the Benefit bronzers. The shade Hula is also really good. That's what I'm wearing today. So, blush. I love blush, and blush is something that I definitely prefer higher end versions of, but I do own drugstore as well. It's just I always reach for my MAC shades more than anything else, just because I find they're super easy to put on quickly without overdoing it. I just think they're good value for money too, because compared to other higher end brands, the blushes from MAC aren't as expensive. So, I mean, if you are gonna try higher end, definitely recommend the MAC if you haven't tried them. Highlighter. This one may shock some people, considering how many categories I have ranked as splurges. But when I'm going out and I'm trying to figure out what highlighter to wear, I always go back to my drugstore ones. Crazy. I don't know if you can get this one anymore. I'm sorry if you can't, but this is the L'Oreal Paris True Match Lumi Powder Glow Illuminator in the shade Rosé. This one is extremely good. I love the way this looks on my skin when you swirl all four colors together. It just gives me that vibrance and that luminosity that I want. And more recently, I picked up this Milani Strobe Light Instant Glow Powder. This is in the shade Afterglow. I didn't realize that in the Deck the Halls Beauty video that the shade name was Afterglow, not Strobe Light. But this one is what I'm wearing today, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, definitely check out the drugstore for highlighters because they've really upped their game. Okay. Lipstick. Lipstick is definitely something I prefer higher end. I'm just one of those people that is absolutely obsessed with the MAC formula. I do like some drugstore lipsticks, for example the Maybelline formulation in the square tubes. Those are excellent for drugstore. When I'm picking out lipstick to wear on any given day, it always ends up being my MAC. So just to give you an idea here, I've got a couple of MAC lipsticks. This is the brand that I own the most of in my collection. So yeah, I'm definitely a high-end lipstick junkie. What can I say? And the last category for makeup I have here is actually setting spray. And setting spray is something that I've definitely given a shot at the drugstore, but it just has never worked out for me. So my two picks are definitely both higher end, but for someone with oily skin who sweats a lot in the summer, having a good setting spray is worth every single penny. Okay, so that's it for makeup. Moving on to the next category. Okay, moving on to the skincare category. We're gonna start with lip balm. I have a couple of different lip balms because I am a lip balm junkie. I have a lot of them. So I have different favorites for different types or like different lip balm circumstances. So for lip scrub, I definitely am a bit more on the splurge side, definitely higher end. I have two favorites. One I have here in front of me is the Lush Cosmetics Bubblegum Lip Scrub. This is a multiple repurchase product for me, even though I don't live near a Lush. This is something that I have on hand the majority of the time. And I also really like the Indigenous Skincare Blueberry Bliss lip scrub. That one is also really, really good. Okay, the next category I want to talk about is cleansing balm. My choices for these are definitely what I'd consider higher end options. There aren't a ton at the drugstore, there are a few, but my favorites are the Vanilla Co. Clean It Zero Purity and the Pharmacy Green Clean Makeup Melt Away Cleansing Balm. So these are definitely my favorite of the ones I've tried. I find they're the most gentle around my eyes in that when I do get a little bit in my eye accidentally, it doesn't like sting or anything, and those don't feel greasy when you use them. So face cleanser. This is something I've been known to be purchasing higher end now for a very long time. I've been using the Origins Checks and Balances Frothy Face Wash for years. Definitely at least since like 2014. I think that's when I first ordered it online. It's definitely worth the money for my skin. However, on the other end of the spectrum for face scrub, I definitely recommend drugstore. My personal favorite is the St. Ives, the acne control one, because it has a little bit of salicylic acid in it, which is perfect. I find it actually helps with the exfoliation aspect too. This is like $4 at Walmart, and every time I buy a high-end scrub, it is just not worth it to me, and I always go back to the $3 one. Definitely a save. When it comes to face moisturizer, I definitely am a bit more of a splurge for this one. My reasoning for that, or my logic behind that, is that it's seeping into your skin. So you want something that's going to be good quality to actually seep into your skin and like stay in your skin, if that makes sense, for longer periods of time at least. Not just because of the seeping in aspect, but because I have oily skin, it is a little bit harder for me to manage my skin with drugstore ones. For eye cream, I've definitely had better luck with the higher end eye creams. Favorite one right now is the First Aid Beauty Eye Duty Triple Remedy. This one technically has color to it, so it acts kind of like a light concealer as well, but this one is definitely my favorite right now. When it comes to serum, I do have a favorite one here as well, and I don't know if I would consider this drugstore or not because it's not an overly expensive product, but I have to order it online. So, this is from the brand called The Ordinary, and it's their niacinamide 10% zinc 1% high strength vitamin and mineral blemish formula. This applies like a serum, but yeah, this is the one I've been really liking. I did have to order that online. I didn't buy it at an actual drugstore, but it's only $8.97 Canadian. Like, it's less than 10 bucks. So, I don't know. I guess I would consider it drugstore? I'm not sure. Now, in the list I have included toners, but toners aren't something that I buy quite often. I find they don't make a big difference in my skin for me personally, so I don't spend a lot of money on them. The last one I did buy was from Origins, so it was a higher end toner, but I think I repurchased it once and I haven't repurchased it again. I guess I would say high end, but it's not something that I buy all the time. For makeup remover that isn't cleansing balm, my favorite I would definitely consider higher end, even though it is from the drugstore. This one I purchased from either Lawton's or Shoppers Drug Mart. It's from a brand called Bioderma, which is French. This is their regular Sensibio H2O micellar solution, and this is definitely my favorite ride or die makeup remover, especially for eye makeup. It just has the consistency of water, and it just is a lot easier to use, and you don't have to pull on your eyes or your skin as much to actually remove the product. So that is definitely worth the money to me. For facial sunscreen, I guess I would consider this higher end too. The one I used last summer is a Korean sunscreen that I ordered online. This is from the brand My Skin Mentor Dr. G, and it's their Brightening Up Sun SPF 50 plus PA triple plus. So that's what I used. I haven't had much luck with drugstore facial sunscreen, again because of my skin type. So it's harder for me to find ones that are mattifying, that don't break me out, that are lightweight, that sit well under makeup, that kind of thing. So I did go higher end with facial sunscreen. I feel like with sunscreen in general, it's important to make sure you're using good quality, not necessarily super expensive, but make sure you're buying like good quality sunscreen, because I mean, what's the point if it's not going to work? I mean, you're wearing sunscreen for a specific purpose, to protect your skin from UV rays. And the last category I have here for skincare is, of course, one of my favorites, face masks. I have one favorite drugstore and one favorite high-end, but generally overall I tend to pick higher end face masks just because I find they work better for my skin. So my favorite high end is no surprise to people who've been watching me for a long time, the Glam Glow Super Mud Clearing Treatment. My favorite drugstore one right now, this is the only one I've found at the drugstore that I would actually repurchase. The Clean and Clear Acne Triple Clear Clay Mask is really good. So if you haven't tried this, it's like 10 bucks. I highly recommend it. So first I'm going to talk about actual like hair brushes. All of my brushes are technically now drugstore, so on the save side. I do use a wet brush to detangle my hair when it's damp. These are absolutely worth the money. They are, I guess you could say, a bit more expensive than the typical Walmart lineup of brushes, but these are 100% worth the money. But you can get them at Walmart here now, so no excuse. Go get yourself one. And the other hair brushes I have are just a comb and a just regular rectangular paddle brush. These are from the brand Goody, I think. Yeah, so these are just standard, like, I think this is like $7 or something. So yeah, those are definitely lower end. I don't think you need to go and buy like a dry bar brand hairbrush or anything like that. Next, I'm gonna talk about my actual hair tools. So my styling tools. My hair dryer is actually super duper old. I cannot believe this thing still works. This is a Conair one, even though you can't even see the label on it anymore. I bought this in 2010. Just think about that for a second now. This is an 8-year-old hairdryer, and it's still going. Then my curling wand and my flat iron are both kind of higher end. I splurged on these because I wanted ones that have a higher temperature tolerance and just ones that I knew were going to be good quality and not going to burn my hair off. So my curling wand is from Sally's Beauty Supply. This is the brand Plugged In. I really like the curls that it gives my hair. They're kind of loose now because I pulled my fingers through them, but you get the idea. When I curl my hair with this, I can easily get my hair to stay curled for about 3 days. Like if I just stick this up in a ponytail and wear my hair up in a ponytail tomorrow, it will still be curled. So yeah, I'm really happy with that curling wand. And then my flat iron was a bit more expensive. I think this was around $180. I got this from Chatters a long time ago, probably 2012. So she's been around for a while, so she is definitely paid for herself. This is the Avanti Ultra with the silver plates, I guess. Silver, ceramic, titanium. Anyway, the plates inside look like mirrors, but I've had this for a really long time and it's a really good straightening iron. Highly recommend it. If I can find some of these products, I'm not going to link everything from this video down below, but certain things like that, if I can find them online, I'll link them for you guys. I forgot to bring my shampoo out with me, but right now I'm just using I'm using drugstore shampoo and conditioner right now. Sometimes I will splurge and treat myself to a higher end shampoo. I really like the Redken Color Care in the red bottles. Those are really good, but for the most part I do just buy drugstore shampoo. For hair masks or washout treatments, there is one higher end one that I cannot live without, and I have mentioned on my channel a couple of times before. This is from Frederic Fekkai. I can't even buy this here anymore. I do have to order it online. It's the Technician Color Care Luxe Color Mask with grapeseed oil. The stuff smells amazing, and this is just really good at giving life back to my hair. If I haven't used it for a couple days, I can notice. So I usually use this once or twice a week in the winter, sometimes even more often in the summer, because I find it just like really calms down any dryness, frizz, flyaways, perks up the color of my hair again. It's perfect. It's just awesome. So I highly recommend that product if you can find it. Leave-in creams. This is something I've definitely converted to higher end products over the years. I used to use the drugstore ones until I got access to the more expensive ones, and then I started buying those because I found they worked better. And the last hair care item I have here is Hairspray. This is something that I definitely recommend you save on. I don't think it's worth it to spend $20, $30 on a can of Hairspray. This is the Tresemme Unscented Tray 2 Extra Hold. This is like $4 or $5 at Walmart, tops, sometimes even cheaper than that. It works well, it gets the job done. Okay, and last but not least, we have body care products to talk about. First item I want to talk about is body scrub, and this is something that I used to buy high-end all of the time because I could not find one at the drugstore that I liked. However, I've been lucky enough to find one that I do like, So now I'm definitely on the save side when it comes to body scrub. This is from Walmart. It's a brand called Tree Hut, and this is the Shea Sugar Scrub in Almond and Honey. Nice and gritty, and I find it actually gives me the exfoliation I need without the hefty price tag that I was originally paying at the body shop, so happy about that. Next category I have here is body wash. It's definitely something that 9 times out of 10 I buy at the drugstore. Every now and then I'll treat myself to one from Lush or Bath & Body Works in the summer, something like that. Body moisturizer. I have 3 different ones here. So the high-end one I have here is just more of an extra bougie item that came in a set. So this is the Soap & Glory The Righteous Butter. This smells absolutely amazing. I love that stuff, but it is kind of pricey. So for my everyday moisturizers, I do stick to drugstore. So I'm using the Aveeno Baby Eczema Care Moisturizing Cream to prevent psoriasis from coming back on my skin. This is what I use in the wintertime to give me enough moisture, but in the spring when I need a little less moisture, I've been purchasing the Vaseline Intensive Care Aloe Vera. I find this is fresh enough that it's not too boring, but it is a lighter moisturizer that works for me. Bath products, so things like bubble bars, bath bombs, all that kind of stuff. I definitely go higher end. I definitely go with Lush, but I find they are so worth it. They're so just relaxing and fun, and I just really enjoy them, so to me they're worth the money. When it comes to sun protection, I did mention before that you definitely want to make sure you're using something that's high quality, but I don't think there's anything wrong with body sunscreens from the drugstore, so definitely save on these. I don't think you need to buy super duper expensive ones. This is from Hawaiian Tropic. This is their Sheer Touch oil-free sunscreen. It has ultra radiance, so there is a bit of a really light sheen of sparkles to it, but for my arms and legs, I don't think that's big of a deal. This particular one is SPF 15, but I also buy SPF 30 in like the spring and summer, especially if I'm going down south. But I'd definitely say Hawaiian Tropic or Copper Tone are my go-to brands. For self-tanner products, I've definitely had better experiences from higher end products rather than cheaper ones, just from the perspective of blendability and the color of them. So overall, I think they are better and worth the money. So yeah, self-tanner is definitely something I'd recommend sticking to higher end. It's worth the money. And last but not least, we have fragrance. I'm definitely someone who prefers higher end fragrances when I do wear perfume, but even though I do pick higher end perfumes, I tend to buy these like $30 roller balls from Sephora because I just don't think I would use up a full-size like $100 bottle of perfume right now, especially where I'm still fairly young and I want to, you know, experiment with different fragrances. I'm not just set on one fragrance yet, so I definitely want to make sure that if I do get a full-size perfume, it's gonna be one that I'm gonna wear for a very long time. Alright guys, that is it for this Save versus Splurge series or tag, whatever you'd like to call it. I want to thank Amanda for joining me and collabing on this tag. Make sure you go and watch her video down below. It is linked for you in my description. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll leave all of the categories in the description below. If you'd like to do the video yourself, by all means, go ahead. Make sure you let me know in the comments if you do. That way I can go watch it. I love you guys. Thanks so much, and I will see you soon with the next video. Bye!